So let me just tell you, I'm a theater person too. I did a lot of Broadway back in the day. So when I saw this film, I got my giggle on. I was so excited because I was like, oh no, this is hilarious. And it's with Shakespeare too. So I'm wondering if you guys had a special affection for Shakespeare, and that is why you chose to build the story around Romeo and Juliet and Shakespeare in a community theater.
You know what's so funny is I have so much love for community theater, but before this, I did not like Shakespeare. I was like, and I think it's because most of the time people do it and it feels sort of pretentious and it sort of feels like it's only for like the elite, like people in neckties are going to come see it. But I really, through this process, have grown to love it. And now, I would like see any production that the ensemble in the film would put on of Shakespeare because it feels so fun and it feels like it doesn't take itself too seriously. But yeah, we both grew up doing a lot of theater. And
Yeah.
so we have deep roots in it.
Yeah.
Which brings me to your supporting characters. They were pure comedy. Are they all actors that you guys knew in Chicago, or did they you just, randomly cast them in those roles?
We knew all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dexter, I had seen in a show called Charm a long time ago. Who plays Greg. Alma is very active in SAG after in Chicago, like hosting pizza parties and stuff. But she's a seasoned, veteran actor. I mean, they're all folks that we know and love, and yeah.
And they're so specific, each one of them has such a like strong personality in the best way that as soon as you're introduced to them, you kind of go like, oh, right, that person, I know them. I've met somebody like them. And yeah, they're all brilliant comedians too.
Listen, the Black couple had me cracking up, especially the guy. He was just too serious about himself. I hollered. Have any of those characters, have you worked, did you draw from people that you had worked with to build those characters? Because y'all, when I tell you I hollered out loud, I hollered out loud.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, each of those characters is drawn from somebody specific, or they're a combination of lots of people I've worked with. So yeah, like he's the Shakespeare purist who like that's okay, who like knows everything about Shakespeare and wants to make sure that everybody around him is doing it properly. And you have the HB, the guy with the big beard who like, is sort of just like, what is going on here? So yeah, I mean, they're all based on specific people.
Oh my God, that was genius. Chef's kiss on that one, for real, for real. And speaking of casting, was casting the Cuffers, was it intentional, or did it just kind of turn out that way, that they all happen to be family that you cast as family?
It was really organic, honestly. We didn't set out to do that. Kelly wrote it for Keith, and then Keith brought us the idea of Catherine. And then it was like it would be crazy to ignore the fact that there's a third extremely talented family member. And then when we really dug into it, Tara is incredible, and it just made so much sense. And I mean, I think you could like see they've got they add so much, I think, to we'd have to make it all up, with somebody else. They just show up and that's them to some extent.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? I remember this film being at Sundance, and it was on my list of things to see, and I didn't get a chance to see it there, but I've seen it now. And I didn't know then, and I didn't know going into watching it this time, that they were family until after the fact, which I'm
Oh,
glad I didn't know, because it
yeah.
made my viewing experience a lot different than had I known that going into it. So again, chef's kiss on that too. Um,
Oh,
did you guys play theater games when you weren't on camera to prep for those scenes where you did the theater games?
no, what's so funny is I would go to where all the actors were and I would teach them the game. So they did. They played like a practice round, but then also I taught them some of the theater games as we were filming to make it really fresh. And so a little bit of both. Like sometimes they would have practiced, and sometimes you're watching them learn the game in real time, which I think is pretty ridiculous and fun.
Yeah, you were like just off like not even like just off camera instructing them for a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Alex and Kelly, I loved this, and I mostly loved it because you were dealing with a seasoned Romeo and Juliet. I'm gonna need you to write this for the stage for like some Black people, so I can go up in there and try to be a Juliet. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love that.
You'd be a great Juliet.
Yes,
I
yes.
know this. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed the film, and I especially enjoyed speaking to you about it today.
Thank you
Me
so much.
too.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
All right. Bye. Let me just say, I enjoyed this film so much, mostly because there was a seasoned Romeo and Juliet. I was living for all of that. I was living for them being in their 50s. I'm like, yes. Can we see that? Can we see that movie? Can we see that on a stage? I was living my best life with all of that. Okay. So do you guys intentionally keep your actor life rooted in Chicago as opposed to coming to LA? Because I
Yes.
think it makes a difference when you do that.
Yeah, I run a theater company in Chicago. I'm the artistic director and founder of a company that does new work centering women's voices. So that's, yeah. And
I
Keith,
love that.
Keith's a founding member too. Catherine's a junior member of it too. So, Chicago is an amazing theater community, and really encouraging of you making your own work and doing your own thing. And that is really a huge part of how we got involved in making this film.
And the three of y'all all together were giving me like a modern Barrymore's kind of thing happening. I'm just there for I'm y'all's biggest fan. Let me just put that out there and let you know. But I'm interested to know, since you guys are related, what was the most challenging thing about working together, and what was the thing that brought you comfort in those really intensely difficult emotional scenes?
There weren't too many challenges as far as working with Tara and Catherine. I think there was that part of it was sort of the gem, because of the trust and the playfulness we were able to have with each other without, feeling each other out first if we were three different actors and testing each other's boundaries. So we already had that, and that was freeing in itself. There was a release at the end of the scene, and you knew that you didn't have to apologize for anything.
Yeah,
And,
I think that's it. Yeah.
Right. Catherine, I'm going to throw this one to you. Now, the way your mouth was popping off in that movie, honey, if that was in my house, I would not be living to tell the tale and talk to y'all today. So I know your parents are sitting there, but had you have a moment like that in your real life where you wanted to say something like that to them and you didn't?
Like you said, I would be killed. I would be disowned. I would be not, like you would not see Catherine for a couple months. I'd be grounded in like some basement or something if I ever said the F word in my own house. Oh my God, that would be horrible.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good.
But yeah, so it was definitely different because I would be saying all these curse words. To them, I would be, or sometimes, or when I was vaping in one of the scenes.
She loved it.
Like if I was caught, because they couldn't do anything. What are they gonna do? Yell at me? That's not my fault. So.
That is pure comedy. I would be remiss in finishing up this conversation with y'all without asking you that. And girl, you did your thing. And Are You There, God, as Margaret? I just want you to know you did that. So thank you so, so much. It was a joy to talk to all three of y'all. I'm looking forward to seeing you through the award season because you deserve it.
Oh, thank you. I love your place and your wallpaper. So gorgeous.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that you appreciate my taste.
Thank you so much. Have a
You're
great
welcome.
day.
Bye.
Yeah.